Good morning, everybody. It's Jonathan Miller here again from brokenStones, and welcome to another one of our Talking Business podcasts. I'm delighted to say that we're not just joined by one, but two special guests today. We've got Jessica Davanzo. Say hello, Jess.
Hello. Happy Friday.
And then we've got Tayla. Say hello, Tayla.
Hi.
Some of you may or may not have met Tayla already. She works at brokenStones with myself. She's our marketing executive, but Tayla is also here with her second hat on today. Tayla's going to talk a little bit about her own business, and leading on to that, there's a lot going on in the world at present. There's an awful lot of special work going on in Glasgow at the moment, which is all over the press at present, and I thought today would be a great opportunity to use the Broken Stone Forum as talking about environmental issues, green issues, and talking about making the world a better place, which is something that Jessica and I I've talked about for many, many years. I've known Jess through networking and business probably for about 4 years, I would say now, and I know you've known some of my colleagues before that. But introduce yourself to everybody, Jess. Tell us briefly about your business, and then tell us about perhaps this journey that you've taken to get into a greener planet.
Well, thank you so much. It's really lovely to be here with you both today. Yes, so my name is Jess, and my main company is Square Peg Promotions, which is a promotional merchandise and corporate clothing business. I fell into the industry completely accidentally after a long-term health situation. And I found I really liked the variety that it brought me. Lots of different avenues to market businesses. It was lots of fun and I was really enjoying it. But then I realized as my health got better and I was looking at my own values, that the industry I was right in the middle of was extremely wasteful and didn't align with what I wanted to do with my life. As many of you probably know, you've been to exhibitions where you've been given lots of plastic giveaways. You might come home at the end with a bag of, well, rubbish that ends up in the bin, or you might give to your children, and maybe it's used once and not used again. And that's very much against sort of my ethos and where I want it to be. But I think that the industry is important. We all need to market our businesses. So rather than run for the hills, I wanted to try to engage with my existing client base and my suppliers to create a more sustainable version of what we're doing, and try to educate clients and suppliers to look at ways that we could do things better. So rather than just your standard plastic rubbish, look at alternative materials, things that can be reused, or things that will work for nature and with nature rather than against it.
Fantastic. So when you started talking about that with clients and potential customers, I mean, what was the initial reaction to that?
The biggest hurdle, I think, for me and for many people is probably cost, because plastic has been around for a long time and it gets produced in bulk and it stays around for a long time. So some of the newer technologies and materials do cost more, and a lot of clients initially are quite budget driven. But now there's a lot of change. There's a lot of talk in the media. We've all seen Blue Planet. So people are more aware of the fact that they need to be more responsible, not just for themselves, but for their business and for the planet. So I think they're more willing to look at investing in things better. And I always say, buy less and buy better. So rather than buy maybe 3 or 4 different items, talking myself out of business, but maybe invest in one good product that might be a little more initially, but what is the real cost when you're buying this cheap stuff? What is the
Absolutely.
real cost?
You sound almost like what my father used to say. He used to say, buy cheap and buy twice. And that can be related to anything, but specifically with what you're talking about. Do you feel like the message is starting to get through now? Do you feel like people are warming to the idea?
I think so. I definitely think so. One of the issues that we've seen, and again, it's another buzzword, is greenwashing. I think there's a lot of people being misled as well, or wanting to be seen as eco, or being drawn into things that they think are eco and which really aren't. So that's another hurdle to kind of contend with as we're in this really dramatic conversation I think we're having now as a world.
Fantastic, which probably leads nicely on to, actually, I was going to ask you a couple of questions, Tayla, if that's okay. Obviously, you are the marketing executive, and we work together very closely on IT-related issues and IT support. But like I say, you've got a background yourself and a history and a second hat that you wear with your other business. Tell the listeners briefly about that.
Yeah, so I started something called Young Enterprise Company Programme in 2019 through my school, which is when you create a business and run it through school as competition. And we created a cardboard tent for festivals. So rather than have plastic tents which go to landfill, we created something that can be recycled and not damage the planet. So we did that, won the UK finals and went on to the Europeans. And then afterwards, I just wanted to continue. So I'm doing that now.
Which I think is a wonderful story, and it's something I love talking to you about. I find it fascinating. We should really talk about IT, but we seem to talk about tents more these days. But you see these images all the time over social media and at the end of festivals when there's a clear up operation. And you obviously know a lot more about the stats, but it's a terrible story, isn't it?
Yeah, so 1 in 4 people leave their tents behind. And I think the common misconception is that the tents will go to charity because people think that they can be given to like refugees or people who need them. But honestly, they're left in such a state that they can't really be reused. So 90% end up in landfill, where they can take 1,000 to 10,000 years to decompose, which is obviously a long time.
I mean, obviously, when I mentioned this to you, Jessica, the other day, you almost fell off your chair. I guess you were really impressed with what Tayla was trying to do, especially at such a young age.
Yes, I think it's absolutely incredible. It's mind-boggling, people going to these events and then just leaving all their stuff behind. It drives me crazy. And you think, oh yeah, and like you said, how long it actually takes. People don't realize the afterlife of the choices they make and how that impact can be. So hats off to you. I'm really inspired by what you're doing, really excited about it.
Brilliant. Taking a step back a little bit, obviously the last 2 years have been very tumultuous for businesses, and I presume the promotions business must have been hit relatively hard because obviously there were very, very few shows. So there was a lot of, everything was been done by Zoom and Teams and video conferencing. Are you seeing an appetite now for people to get more involved with promotional materials again and push out the message, or did you not really see much of a change yourself?
I certainly felt much of a change, definitely. I think when everything kind of started happening, the demand just dropped. Like you said, there was no events, no shows. So we had a big drop in demand, and the whole industry really felt that. And so a lot of the products didn't come back in supply in huge quantities. I think everybody was being a little careful with that. Now the demand's back, so the supply is a little bit crazy. But one of the things that I'm excited about is now that the demand is coming back, people are tending to look more towards sustainable products, which is great. So some of the supply is a little bit light right now as we're waiting for production to come through, but it's really exciting to see those changes in buyer habits and people actually being interested in choosing a more sustainable product. So that's really positive.
Fantastic. So this is the bit I always used to look forward to when I saw you at the business meetings and the B&I meetings. Give us some examples then, Jess. Show us some of your wares.
Okay, well, I don't even know where to start. Let's think about, I'll show you a couple water bottles first, because everybody drinks and we know that we need to cut back on single-use plastics. It's ridiculous. I think it's 381 million tons being produced a year of plastic. So these bottles are really a nice promo gift. I think you might have one there, yes. So this is actually made out of prevented ocean plastic. You can get these branded with your logo, but it comes with a QR code. So the recipient can scan that and look at how these are being made and read more about the prevented plastic story, which is really great. So preventing plastic from going in the ocean. This is a more upmarket bottle called the Ocean Bottle. Every purchase of one of these funds a collection of 1,000 bottles from going into the ocean. So again, it's a great story for your brand, and it's not just a product, but it's an investment. So I really love that as well. Thinking about notebooks, I'm going to show you a couple of these too. Cork. Cork is a great alternative to other materials because you don't actually have to cut down the cork tree to harvest the cork. And so as you strip the bark away, when it grows back, it's actually even better for the environment. So it's a lovely material to work for. So that's my cork notebook. I think, Jonathan, you've seen my Apple notebook before, haven't you?
I have seen Apple notebook.
Two shades of my Apple notebook. We've got Granny Smith and Red Delicious. And these are actually made out of recycled apple skin. So it's the residuals and the apple peel. So that's great. Even the paper is. So another 100% sustainable product.
Have you got the stone one to hand?
I do have a stone one. So I love this stone notebook. This is a spiral bound one, but it comes in different formats. The stone notebook is great because the pages are silky smooth. They're water resistant. And they're vegan, so it's really good. I'm a big advocate for cruelty-free products, so that's very, very cool.
Made out of stone?
Yes, so they pulverize the stone and can make it into a paper, and they don't have to use the same kind of chemicals and things that they would not use in normal paper, and they can often take the byproducts and the waste of making the first round and put it back into making the second.
So is it heavy? Is it a heavy notebook?
No, I'll send you one. You can have a little try on. You're after more samples, aren't you? The last notebook I'll show you is actually an erasable notebook. So you can write in this notebook and you can send it. It has an app, so you can send it into your phone, and then you can erase it so you can keep using it. I feel like as much as technology grows, sometimes you like to take notes. So this will work with your computer and with your smart accessories and allow you to still write but not waste paper. So that one is super cool. Shall I show you my pen?
Please do.
I think I've sent you one of these, haven't I?
Let me just check.
This is the True Biotic pen. It's an award-winning technology. It's actually made out of biodegradable and non-toxic biopolymers. So microorganisms have created this pen. If the casing of this pen went into the ocean, it would actually break down into minerals, which would not be bad for the sea. It's also biodegradable. In the soil, so you could put this into the soil and it will actually fertilize the soil. So rather than working against nature, this pen becomes part of the cycle of nature. Nothing is wasted and everything is transformed. Absolutely brilliant new technology there. And you can choose to have it in a little paper pouch. This is actually made out of an algae that would otherwise clog up marine areas. So it's just a great story for your brand and for the planet. And it's a very nice pen. I've just
tested it and it does work, which is always a bonus.
Yeah, and it's lightweight because they've really looked at the design. So even from a transportation element, they've punched out. So it's quite lightweight. So that one's nice.
Brilliant.
We've got pens made out of stone. We've got pens that you can actually, again, embed technology of QR code in. So I'll show you those. These are sustainable still, but what we can do is we'll put a QR code into them for you. So rather than waste paper, people can scan the QR code. This particular one was done for a restaurant, and the recipient can book a table or look at the menu straight from scanning on their phone. So that's quite an innovative one.
Show us the bags. Get the bags.
Bags. Okay, I'll show you some bags, but first maybe should say a little caveat. In getting into the more sustainable sphere and really championing this type of material, a lot of my clients were saying, oh, can I buy one of those for themselves rather than for their business? So I set up a little side project with a gentleman called Paul, and it's called Earthy Stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of SquarePeg's sister. And we do a lot of upcycled gifts. So the products I'm going to show you now are also available on Earthy Stuff. So this bag is actually made out of upcycled fire hose. So it's a messenger bag. It's perfect size for a laptop. Due to the nature of fire hoses, it's water resistant, so you can be in a rainstorm and your stuff won't get wet. But this would be a really nice gift for Christmas. So that's a lovely gift. The next bag, which I'm a super fan of, I've used it this past weekend. It's vegan. It's upcycled tire inner tubes. So at the minute, we're seeing some real trends in the use of tire inner tubes over leather because it's durable. It has unique texture and it's waterproof. So it's a really good material to use. So that one's really fantastic. Also hemp. Hemp is a great substitute or replacement rather for cotton. Lasts a long time, much easier to grow. So we've got lots of hemp bags and hemp material. So a big fan of hemp as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love the red and white hose bag. I love
it's great, isn't it?
I don't know if I'm supposed to ask these sort of questions. How much do they cost? How much would something like that cost?
I think they're on offer at the minute for about £39.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Having just bought my daughter a school bag yesterday, I'm starting to regret that decision because I love the look of that bag.
The good thing about these bags and what I'm saying to people about cost is it's not just the product, it's the story behind it. So particularly with the upcycled hose bag and the tire inner tube bag, there's a company that will go and collect loads of different waste material and transform it into usable giftware. So it's not just good for the environment, but socially it's good. It's helping people in impoverished communities do work. It's helping clean the planet. So you're not just paying for the bag, you're paying for the story behind it and what good it's doing. So I really love that. And I'm going to continue to source as many products like that as I can.
Wonderful. So the challenge you must have right now, I guess, is obviously when you're talking to customers, and I know budgets are tight at present, and I know, you know, people are putting marketing funds in various different formats, but the challenge must be, obviously, as you said earlier, to get people to spend a little bit more, buying a little bit less, but going for products which are, you know, ecologically friendly and sustainable. And I guess businesses now are, I mean, we're doing it ourselves, and maybe Tayla will want to talk about this briefly as well. We're trying to track our journey to becoming more ecologically friendly business. In IT, obviously, there is traditionally a lot of wastage. You know, there's loads and loads of kit and wire and packaging and stuff like that, and we're desperate to try and plough that furrow. I mean, Tayla, you've been documenting that recently. Do you want to talk briefly about what we're trying to do as a business there?
Yeah, so we're trying to kind of monitor our green journey and move in any way we can towards being more sustainable. So trying to track where, so for example, like old computers, where they go, rather than just going to landfill if there's something we can do with them instead. And we're trying to talk more to our suppliers about their green credentials. And so making sure we're really partnering with people who share the same values as us.
Which is great. It's about the whole supply chain, really. You know, we're looking at people who supply to us, people who we supply to, and I guess, you know, it's like you throw a stone into the water, isn't it? And there's small ripples, but, you know, gradually it builds and builds and builds. And you must be seeing that yourself, Jess. I guess now, you know, it's been a long journey.
Yes.
But I think now you must be starting to, you know, bear the fruits of that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really trying to push the transparency with how things are made, because, like I said, it's not just the end product, it's what kind of factory environments they are, how sustainable that is. It's the transportation. So one thing I would say for people that are considering getting merchandise or corporate clothing is to give as much time as you can, lead time, because everybody's so used to last minute rush. And the longer you can give, the more options you've got. We can have much more responsible, low carbon transportation options for you. And I'm always happy to give you information on how something's actually made. So I think that's good advice for people, is to try to think ahead and just think better instead of kind of more. Less is more.
Here's an interesting topic. I know we're starting to push on with time now, but have you got any sort of a couple of top tips for businesses who are starting a green journey, who are looking to become more responsible, not just in terms of the promotional materials, but generally, what could companies start to do, some easy wins to get on the journey?
I think looking at waste, and not just waste as in their rubbish, but as in things that they can cut out. I mean, even things like having a reusable water bottle for every member of staff, and cutting off on, you know, having single-use things in the workplace. Looking at, do you have to drive to that meeting? Can it be on Zoom? I know we're all probably zoomed out now. Looking at, I think there's lots of different things. Trying to maybe group transportation cost. It very much depends on your business, but I think it's definitely a holistic thing. It's all the elements. And in terms of promotional things, just one thing it's worth mentioning. We've got a cup, for example, which we can give, like an Americano cup, we can brand for you. We can give it to all your employees. And once that starts getting kind of worn down, we can recollect it, use the material to recreate the cups fresh for you with your branding. So it's a perpetual cycle. So I think it's trying to look at things like that in your business, that you can have as low of an impact on the environment as you can. But also, when you do things like that, I think it excites staff and excites your clientele, and it makes you more, I think it gives you an advantage, because people are going to be choosing more sustainable businesses over not now. So I think it's worth investing the time in that.
That's a really great point, actually, because I think, you know, the job market is an interesting market at present, and I know it's difficult to recruit, but certainly if as a potential hiring business, you're going to be more attractive to quite a lot of the population now, I thought, if you were environmentally friendly, if you did have corporate responsibility, if you were trying to make that journey.
Yeah, I think that you can do audits, you can look at carbon offsetting, you can do loads within your business. That's going to be great for your brand and the environment, which is the end product.
Very quickly, Tayla, what are the next steps in terms of EnviroTent for you guys now? I know it's still early days, but what are the next steps for you? Because obviously it's festival season again next year. What are your plans?
Yeah, so I'm working with a foundation now called Martin James Foundation, and I'm on a program with them called Epic Youth. So we're kind of working together to set up the business, and we do logos, redesigns, all things like that now, and just really hoping to make those environmental changes and hopefully make festivals a bit greener.
That's amazing.
That's absolutely brilliant. I think we'll draw things to a close over the next couple of minutes now. But Jessica, in terms of how people can get hold of you, then give us some shameless plugs about how people can get hold of you.
Oh, bless you, thank you. Well, I'm on all the platforms, so Instagram, Facebook, and I think I'm even on Twitter for Square Peg Promo. It's at Square Peg Promo, and for Earthy stuff, it's hello@earthystuff.co.uk is my email address, and I'm on Instagram as well. You can email me for squarepeg at jessica@squarepeg.co.uk.
Tayla, do you want to give a quick shameless plug for your contact details?
Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn and also Instagram at taylaevans.et.
Brilliant. And just as a plug for you, actually, Jess, I mean, we've obviously used you as a business in the past, and like I said, I've been to many meetings and business meetings and networking meetings with you, and the passion that you have for what you do is infectious. I know for all the clients that you work with, I know that you do go that extra mile. I know it sounds like a cliche, but you do work really hard to find people solutions, and it's great to see, and hopefully some of that has come through today. So thank you both.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
It's been very different talking about ecological issues instead of IT and stuff like that. It's been a really pleasant change. We'll be putting this out across all the various different media channels. It's been brilliant. There'll be contact details on the podcast as well. So thank you, ladies. It's been a great morning, and we'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.
See you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.